So this is going to be a real quick video. I only got a few minutes before work. It's going to be an update kind of on a few things that I'm going to be testing this week, and I'll probably be posting a video out a little bit later. This video is going to be basically an update on my top builds I think really matter when it comes to Scum. So first things first though, later on this week, uh, I'm going to do a brass knuckles test. I want to see kind of if there's any damage difference between having max melee and max brawling if you have both together or not, or attack speed. Because if somehow they stack, then that could be good. But also, I guess it means that it gives melee users an option for, you know, hand-to-hand combat. Then we got the throwing effect, the aim dot. So I want to see if you have max throwing, if that affects the aim dot at any mode for rifles, because in the description it says that it affects like the brightness or whatever of the dot or something, the occupancy of the dot. So although it's not a hard skill to level, if it does affect that dot, it might be good to level if it helps you with your rifle like hip fire, point fire. The next thing is we're gonna have a coal mine. So I want to look at some XP farms. I think because I've been thinking about, what if you don't want to passively farm brawling or melee or rifles or whatever. And there's two options that I think are in my mind right now. One is the kill boxes because people use them to go get loot. But if you mess up on the bomb challenge, then it will end up dropping more and more zombies down. So say you have a team of 5, one of you is sitting there killing puppets. The other 4 are sitting there messing up the doors, so they keep spawning infinite amount of puppets off of the walls. If there's a limit or not, I don't know, but that could be a big deal. Really, really easy way to level up your actual skill there. Also, the puppets spawn in a bunker, so I don't know if they would drop more loot or not. If you wanted to maximize your loot gain, you could possibly loot the puppets or use it to get a bunch of leather or whatever you want, heads, all that good stuff. Um, Now the coal mine, there's a couple of different things here. One, I think it could be good for an XP farm because there's a lot of puppets there. Two, I think it might be the best spot for us to find and build in there for a passive puppet farm for brawling or melee because you could possibly get a bunch of bodies in one section and kind of pin them there and then have a big pile. That could be interesting. Also think that it's a good place to store loot because there's nothing really to loot in the mine that I've found so far. And you could hide a box down there pretty easy. No one's going to be able to see unless they have NVGs. And then you have all the puppets. And the third thing I'm going to test with that is explosives. So I want to see if, say, you put a mine inside of the coal mine and it explodes, if it would attract all the puppets to you. So it would basically be like an in-home defense. So even if they happen to get in there and be looking around for your chest, they set off a mine, and then you have puppets just guarding the entrance to your box. So it probably wouldn't be the best defense ever, but at least you could get a swarm going, scare them a little bit. Let's look at the back real quick. So we still need to test the awareness level and stuff. This is the other thing, the kill box and the coal mine, not just for XP or whatever, but for cloth. I believe those are going to be the best places that you're going to be able to farm cloth quickly because you can kill the puppets and then farm all the cloth off the puppets. So if you wanted to stack up, hundreds of backpacks full of cloth, I think that would be probably the best method to get it done very quickly. And then you already know how I've been talking about you could use cloth perhaps instead of wood or whatever for a awareness farm. So that means you could technically go in there, kill the puppets with your fist or your hands, grab the cloth, put them in bags or chests or whatever while you're down there, and then keep yourself healed So you'll be leveling your healing as you go through because you have all the extra cloth you need to keep going. And then after that, you can cut up the cloth into rags and then cut that into rope and then do the awareness farm to where you log in, log out. And you'd probably be able to get a lot of XP doing that. It'd also be helpful to have high awareness inside of a coal mine because you can't see as much in there. And then we have a couple Reddit posts that we need to do. So I want to try and switch my sniping keybind because I can't use it anymore. And then I want to see about if they're interested in making the flare to where it could deactivate people's camo. That way it would give the flare some more utility in game. I don't know if it's actually a thing or not, but let's get into these builds real quick. So top builds from everything that I've seen so far, I'm going to show you, I think my number one build that I'm using is going to be a 1533, or you can go a 4.5 here. But we did a 1533 because strength, even at this, it's going to take you a day or so to get to 1.5 strength. That gives you medium and all of the weapon stats, which is respectable. It's not that big of a deal. And then it's going to take you, I don't know, 12, 16 hours, something like that, to get to 3 strength, and then you're going to be able to max out all your skills. That's not terrible, okay? Especially at the beginning of the game, if you're not worried about your combat stats, because you can use shotguns perfectly fine, you can use snipers perfectly fine, melee weapons can still do very well against puppets and stuff here. It's not really going to be the best versus PvP players, but that's all perfectly fine here. The Constitution is going to save you a lot of time because you get extra stamina, you're going to be able to run faster, you're going to have way more HP, all of that. You're just not going to be able to carry as much load. So this is the big deal, is the load is going to slow you down quite a bit. The dexterity is going to give you more movement speed and also allow you to just have max lockpicking so you don't have to deal with lockpicking. That just seems like it's going to be one of the better options. Intelligence is going to allow you to get all of the base stats that you need here maxed out. So here I would start either advanced medical if you want to go PvP early, or I would do advanced survival if you want to go like PvE building early. But also if you just don't want to grind out skills, I would just go advanced medical, and then you can grind out all the other ones just naturally playing the game, even though it is less time efficient. So you don't really notice. A couple weeks you'll have advanced survival. It's not the biggest deal. This works really good at the beginning of the game. I personally don't like having a super thin character, but that is what it is. And since your character is lighter, you can be a lot more silent at the beginning of the game compared to other people. And maxing your stealth and your camo isn't going to take too long passively right here. The next one that we got is if you want to say have a 5 intelligence character, I would drop my dexterity and then go 1515. This right here is kind of an average looking dude. He isn't super fat, which I'm happy about. This right here is simple. Okay, so when you come in here, your brawling stats and stuff are going to be just like the other character. You're still going to have really high health. Alright, this is the main point. You're going to have really high health, and you're going to have really high endurance. Alright, and we've already seen with the bicycle that you can level your endurance really, really fast compared to running. I mean, they're sort of on par, but endurance can level super fast on a bicycle compared to running skill. So I think this is going to be more acceptable. It's going to give you way more movement speed at the beginning of the game as well, but you're not going to have the dex. But dex will level up naturally over a couple weeks. This will be fine. Here I would probably still put this at basic, because as you lockpick police lockers or whatever else, you're going to be able to get this up to medium relatively quickly. And medium's perfectly fine for a lot of PvE stuff. But this, you're a squad leader, so it's not necessarily your point to have max thievery or anything super special here. If you do want max thievery, you can drop down your constitution and then go 133.5. I'm not going to say it's going to be the best option, but it is a pretty decent option if you want. The issue is that sometimes you can't level your endurance once you have advanced running here. There's like some glitches here, but this is also an acceptable option for a 5 intelligence build. Now, if you are a super grinder and you want to have combat stats, you can drop your con or you can drop your dex and put that into strength as well. So, and you can get a combat stat at the very beginning of the game. Uh, Now, if you're going to go combat stat the other way, I would probably drop my dexterity. This basically gives you the option between a stealthy character that's good at stealing or a strength character that is good at combat. But this still gives you the high HP values that you want. It gives you a higher strength, higher damage, and everything here. Probably just do advanced rifles. And then you're going to have your 3 points that you can put in whatever here. It'd probably still go medical. All these other ones aren't too hard to level. Medical isn't really the hardest to level, but you do have to go out of your way to level it, and it can take some time. Awareness could be good if you want to go straight into like close quarters PvP, but you can level this pretty quickly. Now, if you're going for a 5 intelligence build, I'm going to say probably what you're going to want to do is either advanced medical and kind of survival here. This is going to probably be your best option. Basically, this is going to save you 60 seconds or so per tree. Well, actually, this will save you, I don't know, probably over a minute per tree. I don't really know off the top of my head. But that's pretty good time saving, and then it isn't going to take you very long to get to advanced here. And then on top of that, then it's going to be like 30 something hours to get to advanced plus in survival. But this is going to allow you to level engineering quicker, awareness quicker, and that's basically it. But getting advanced plus survival is a pretty big deal. Medical to take care of yourself and your teammates is going to be a big one. I think that's a really big one, is that teammates being able to heal themselves and you being able to heal them can be a really big deal. But also this opens up the possibility of any of these other things that come down the line, especially tactics. Tactics is going to be a really big one for PvP. So I think that's going to be good. Animal handling is something that I'm interested in if it ever comes out. These biochems and stuff, I don't really know. Now, if you want like a 5 strength character, I wouldn't really recommend it because it's quite difficult to manage a 5 strength character. But you're going to want the constitution to offset the calorie burn. I mean, if you're like want to grind constitution, this is going to take you the longest time. It's going to take you like 100 hours plus to get any of those skills max, and you're going to have to constantly be running. So personally, I would just do this. Or if you're not really interested in intelligence skills, just drop that down and put the rest in constitution. But I don't think 5 strength character is the best start because it really hinders your gameplay. You're going to have to constantly have food on your character. You will burn thousands of calories very quickly with a 5 strength. So, not the best option in my mind. But I do personally like a 5 strength character. The look-wise of it. That's the top builds, I think, for currently in the game. I mean, I don't really see much reason to run anything else. If you're going PvP, you don't really need 5 strength. 3 is going to be the tops if you want advanced rifles at the beginning. Um, Personally, I think the 1533 is the best for a general play experience because any of the skills that are inside of the strength category can be leveled very, very quickly. Strength itself, you're going to be able to get leveled up in a couple of days just playing the game naturally. And your constitution and endurance are going to be, or endurance, constitution, and running will all be really, really high compared to any other player, and it's going to take them way longer to get that maxed up than it is for you to get maxed up. Now, if you do think that you're going to be in a car 99% of the time, you could simply just not take Constitution, but I still wouldn't recommend it because there's a host of benefits for Constitution skill. The resilience, the immunity, the extra HP. Having 20% more HP than other players at a minimum is like a huge thing. Even though you can level Constitution, leveling the running and endurance takes way, way longer than any other skill in the game. Um, Using a bicycle will make that easier, but it's still going to take you quite a while. So the last character that I built, I did 5 Constitution. I would say if you want to save some points or you wanted to start with 1.5 Strength or something, I would go down to 4.5 Con at the minimum. It loses 5 HP. It's not the biggest thing. So if you're going to do something major, just drop the this down to 4.5. And then it gives you a little bit of extra to play with if you want to like have a little bit of dexterity increase. This right here will actually give you more movement speed at the beginning of the game. But it's going to take a little bit more time to get your endurance back up, but this will give you more movement speed. 4.5 is where you can get a advanced skill and medium skill. I would go advanced running and medium endurance here. If you do this, you're going to be able to get basically advanced thievery and basic and another skill. So personally, I wouldn't do this. I would probably do driving or something. So 3.5 dex, basic driving. That'll give you a lot of power to just like steal vehicles and stuff at the beginning of the game and not have to worry about stalling or anything, as well as make your character thinner but faster. This will save you more time at the beginning of the game, but that is an option. It's up to you. 5 health I don't think is the biggest deal. And being able to run faster and not have a huge penalty here is going to allow you to level up your Constitution fairly good. I think you'll lose 4% water and energy consumption for the endurance here, and you'll probably lose, a decent bit of stamina regeneration, but you're still going to have way more than other players. And then if you want to start with a medium skill and strength, you can simply put that 0.5 into strength. It'll take you a couple of days to get to 3 strength, but you can start with medium rifles or, basic rifles, basic handgun, or medium brawling would be personally my go-to because I personally don't like leveling brawling up very much in game. So even though it isn't terrible to level brawling, starting with medium would save you quite a lot of time, and then you'd be able to, get a good amount of things going at the beginning of the game. I'll go ahead and early speed. We'll go ahead and make this character, and I'll show you what's going on. So we're gonna go here. Actually, we need to make sure that our stats actually work here. So 4.5, we got strength. Here I'll go brawling so I can get this up faster. I want to get to at least medium brawling. It gives me advantage over other players. And then melee weapons, I will level up throughout the game, most likely. It's not the worst thing in the world to level. Medium endurance, thievery, basic driving. Then here I'd probably go medical. And this is going to save you the most, this is going to be like the most survivable build when it comes to PvP and getting shot early. Especially, as a sniper or something, being able to get away and then level your medical is going to be a big deal. If you want to save the most time possible, I would just go for survival, because that's going to give you the most time saving compared to everything else. So that's a debate, because with medical we can still level that pretty quickly. So survival is a big one. Now when we make this character, I'm just going to look at the movement speed and stuff real quick. We're going to have to get going very quickly. So after we land, I'm going to end this video and export it. And I got to go because I got like 45 minutes. It's like I got like a 30-minute drive, so I got about 10, 15 minutes to get out of here. Um, yeah. These other videos I'll test later this week. I got a construction project I got to finish in the next couple days, and then later this week I'll have to do everything that I have on this piece of paper. So I think the coal mine is going to be the big one. I'm going to go on probably a multiplayer server and test that out. One, I think it could possibly muffle your gunshots in the deep depths of the mine. And two, I think it could be a good place to level for puppets. So we also need to adjust our graphics settings. So I'll probably go ahead and put that down. Alright, so this we're just going to look at the top running speed that you're going to be able to get at the beginning of the game. Technically, you can go, you know, 5, well, you could do...
Secure communication with human asset established. Greetings, human asset. Welcome to Scum Island tutorial protocol provided by the Tech One Corporation. My designation is Dual Energetic Entity Neural Appliance or DENA. I am an artificial intelligence created by the Tech One Corporation tasked with overseeing the Scum Show protocols including the preparation of human assets. If you wish to activate the tutorial, please do so on your journal interface. Secure channel closed.
So here's the main thing, right? So here you're going to be starting out at basically 30.8 kilometers an hour, which isn't too shabby, but you're not going to be able to carry much weight, which is where if you want to be fast, you're going to have to use bows or something like that. But if you want to be faster at the beginning of the game, you can drop this down to 3 and then move it over here, but the issue is that it's going to take you a long time to level this endurance. So if you don't have an interest in endurance, that's fine. Me personally, I have a big interest in endurance because one, it helps me a lot with sniping or anything that's going to be long duration. And then at the beginning of the game, it makes it to where I don't really need to go find food and stuff nearly as often, which is really, really good. But you're losing, you know, 4%, 5% on all those stats right there, which isn't terrible, but it kind of slows you down. And then you're increasing the leveling time of endurance quite a lot. So personally, I prefer the 5 Constitution over this. But this is still perfectly acceptable. Because you can see, like, as we're running here, we're going to be getting 0.5, 0.3. We've lost 3 endurance here. But for me, I'm more of a melee character when it comes to puppets and stuff, especially at the beginning of the game. I personally like running a knight, so I use bows, I use swords, and I use shotguns for the bulk of my beginning. But having a character like this also allows me to use snipers pretty effectively. That's going to be like your top long-range gun. So you can get this leveled up pretty quickly. Basically, it's going to take you about 6 hours or so to get your Constitution leveled up here. So I think that's perfectly acceptable, especially, you know, if you're not going to be able to continuously run this whole duration. Using a bicycle, you're going to be able to level this very quickly. So if you're not worried about having the extra endurance at the very beginning, having medium endurance is perfectly fine. You're going to be beating out 90% of players because most don't take anything in endurance anyway. And you're only losing 5 HP. So, and that's only going to take you about 6 hours to get the 5 HP here. But being able to have basic driving so you're not going to stall when you steal a vehicle, that's good. Or being able to put that in 5 strength and be able to get medium brawling would basically be what I would do. I would prefer to have medium brawling and then just level up my melee weapons as I play the game. That would be the big thing here. So you can say we're still running. Pretty good. And then this right here is going to get to 0.24. And that's going to be very fast to level this up. I mean, 0.24, you're looking at, 12 hours to get to the 4 decks. And then you're looking at, another 30 hours or however long it is to get to 5. So that's acceptable for dexterity leveling. I don't think that's too bad. We can just go ahead and calculate that real quick. So we got 1.5, 2.4. So it's 6.25, 37 hours. So at this level, it's going to take you 37 hours. Basically, if you don't do that, it's going to take you like 49 to get this extra 0.5. But that's nothing that you can worry about. You can AFK level your decks fairly easy, so you don't really have to worry about that. It's going to take you a couple of days to get this level. It's not a big deal. Starting out with 1.5 on the strength is probably going to be a much better option just to save time here. I don't really remember exactly how fast driving levels, but this right here is going to take you probably 2 or 3 hours, I would assume. And it is possible that we could go 0.5 and then put that into melee weapons and kind of increase our melee weapon deals, but it only takes like an hour or so to get basic in these skills, so it's more worth it just to put it into one skill and you'll be good. If you want a passive level, it's probably better to just go brawling. If you want to actively level, then it might be better just to go into melee weapons because it's going to do less damage with brawling. So that's pretty much it. I got to head to work, and y'all